Good morning. Good morning. Class of 2026, it is my honor to celebrate your accomplishments here at DKU. As some of you may know, I joined DKU in 2024. That means all of you have been here longer than I have. In my 2 years at this dynamic institution, I've met students who are genuinely interested in learning and unafraid to ask questions. I've met students who are brimming with potential to bring meaningful change to our world. Like other faculty, I'm excited for DKU because of the caliber of our students. You should be proud of what you have achieved, and we are all very excited to see what you will achieve in the future. Today, I want to address a problem that many of us face but often feel uncomfortable discussing. I want to talk about a rather crippling feeling, the feeling that you are an imposter in your own skin. Yes, that's right. I'm here to talk about the imposter syndrome. Whether your next step is enrolling in graduate school, or starting your new job, or taking a year off, it is an undeniable fact that the world we live in is a rough place. It is unforgiving, competitive, and performance-oriented. You might think that once you leave this university, there will be no margin for error, that exploration, learning, and experimentation must take the back seat to unrelenting pragmatism. You might think that a focus on better results and concrete outcomes is what brought you success here at DKU in the first place. Is it really an exaggeration, then, to say that you feel compelled to be perfect, lest you be found wanting, or much worse, a fraud? I would like to convince you that this binary mindset, I'm either perfect or I'm a fraud, is a crippling mistake. We need not look far for examples. For as long as I've known Duke University in Durham, Duke's elite basketball team begins every season with sky-high expectations. Any outcome short of the national championship is a source of ridicule and embarrassment for our program. Watching the Duke freshman, Caden Boozer, take personal responsibility for his team's loss in the Elite Eight, it gave me an intense feeling. It was both heartbreaking and awe-inspiring. In fact, moments like Caden's, they offer a rare glimpse into what we already know, but often need reminding. Life does not always go as planned, and when we fall short, our striving was not in vain. In 2015, I began my professional career at Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies in Washington, D.C. I was a young professor in a professional school where my students were roughly the same age or even older. I can't begin to describe how nervous I felt teaching my classes. I took care to wear formal clothes, freshly pressed button-up shirts, lapel jackets, all because I lacked the gravitas that comes with gray hair and white beard. From that time, I remember being in an elevator with a student who unironically asked me, "Are you wearing a Halloween costume?" When she looked at me, that student could not believe I was a professor. We don't need many experiences like this for us to feel fraudulent. Believe me when I tell you, imposter syndrome is a subject on which I could genuinely claim a second PhD. Could this feeling be any worse? Let's fast forward to today's world of generative AI, where technology is replacing some of our value, our talents, and contributions. Isn't it possible that imposter syndrome will become even more prevalent and more difficult to cure? In my view, there's only one true cure to the imposter syndrome. It is to believe in your heart that you have something valuable to contribute. Despite our many accomplishments, this is often easier said than done, because we are our own harshest critics. As a doctor, then, I know not the right kind of doctor, but a doctor of political science, no less, I would like to prescribe maintaining a more balanced perspective on life. Each of you will walk a different path, but I believe these 3 tips will help you do just that. First, redefine excellence as a habit rather than a predefined outcome. What do I mean by this? I stand before you today because I won a teaching award, but I assure you I am not a perfect teacher. Far from it. I've had a lot of practice communicating ideas and concepts, but I am still prone to basic errors in facts and reasoning. I've had the bad habit of beating myself up over these small mistakes. When I go home, my head replays my worst hits over and over. I allow myself to be weighed down by my past mistakes. Mistakes are never pleasant, but they need not define us. When we define excellence as a habit rather than an outcome, we maintain high standards and high expectations without being unforgiving of ourselves. By taking the good with the bad, we earn ourselves a second chance, a chance to learn and improve. Second, redefine adversity as an opportunity. It may be cliche, but let me say it again. You learn more from failure than success. I feel qualified to speak on the subject because I've experienced extreme highs and extreme lows in my professional life. Many years ago, I made a costly decision to prioritize teaching over research. When the bill came due and it appeared my days in academia were numbered, I found myself pouring the time that I had left into teaching and supporting my students. This experience cured my imposter syndrome. I learned something about myself I wouldn't have known had everything gone as planned. I learned there and then my own values as a teacher. A teacher isn't defined by superior intelligence or perfection. Those things might be nice to have for sure. What really makes a teacher is the willingness, despite the setbacks, to put the interests of students first. Ever since, this realization has enabled me to quickly recover from my mistakes. In fact, it has enabled me to teach my heart out here at Kunshan University. My fears and insecurity seem trivial compared to the real and present needs of my students, and the joy that helping them gave me. Authenticity is born from adversity. Those who have found their causes in helping others are able to pick themselves up from their perceived failure and persevere. Third, I found gratitude. Our dear friends and family are a daily reminder that even in this highly competitive and performance-oriented world, there are still people who appreciate us for who we are rather than an asset or tool that brings economic value. I'd like to tell my younger self, don't aim to cultivate perfect relationships or think of your relationships as indicators of success. Trust me, it won't work out well. Instead, make the best of the moments that you have with your loved ones here, both the good and the bad. Get into the habit of prioritizing their needs, even when that means rough times and difficult conversations. At DKU, I found a place to call home, a community of dedicated teachers and students who are pushing the frontiers of knowledge. I am honored to share these hard-learned lessons with you because I know we're all in this together. By rising to any challenge with excellence as a habit, honest reflection through adversity, and gratitude for loved ones, I believe you, the class of 2026, will thrive and even grow under uncertainty. Above all, I believe a balanced perspective on life will help you, the class of 2026, lead a more meaningful and fulfilling life. The cure to our imposter syndrome will be like an icing on the cake. Thank you very much.